Hey, hi again, and welcome to this new lecture. What we have so far is this map with these 62 markers, each of them representing a volcano location in the United States. However, this map is not very smart, so to say. The only information that this map conveys is the locations of the volcanoes. And you also have a base map. There's also a good aspect of this map because you can extract information like that if you click the icons. However, you may want to transform this map to actually show an attribute instead of just volcano locations. The way to do that, there may be different ways, but that's up to your knowledge about cartography. But I could make the map show an attribute here. For example, I could change the colors of these markers to actually show the elevation range. Let's say we can categorize these markers into three colors. Let's say green, orange, and red. Green would be for elevations from 0 to 1000 meters, for example, or 2000 meters, and orange would be from 2000 to 3000 meters, and then red markers would represent volcanoes with an elevation of higher than 3000 meters. So how do we do that with Folium? Let's get back to Atom. Here is our code, what we have so far. Currently, what we're passing to the icon argument is a color argument with a value of green. So basically what we need to do, we need to make this dynamic so that the color changes depending on the elevation. And unfortunately, we cannot do that with Folium. So Folium doesn't have native functionality to create dynamic colors for your markers. Therefore, we need to be a bit creative here and use Python core functionalities to do this. And when you think about dynamics, I think about functions. So basically, this loop is going through latitude, longitude, elevation, and then it passes those three values into this expression in here. However, color is being passed as a string always. But how do I change it depending on the elevation, for instance? Well, the way to do that is by creating a function that gets as input elevation, and then it does some actions inside the function, then it returns a color depending on the elevation value. So you can say, if elevation is less than this, give me green color, a green string here, and so on and so forth. So to give you an idea, the way this would work is, let me write the function here. This would be a good place to do that before creating the map object. But always you need to create the function, because I will be calling the function in here, so you need to create the function before this expression, so from here and upwards. I'll be creating that in here. Let's call the function color producer. Let's keep it simple for a while just to demonstrate you how this would work. So let's keep it very simple. Let's say return green, and if you change this to color producer, and don't forget the brackets, by passing brackets that means you are calling the function. If you don't pass the brackets, that means you're just calling the function name and you are not executing the function. So I'll just keep it like that and go ahead and execute map1.py. Alright, reload and you'll get the same thing, right? Because what happens is that this thing in here, this function call, will be equal to whatever you return here. So the type of this object is actually a string. So it's exactly the green string. Therefore, now you can add some conditionals here. Basically, you need to pass an input here, so elevation. Let me write whatever variable you like. I'll write elevation, and here you need to pass L. So L for let alone L. So, let's say we have 62 rows in the data table, and the for loop will go through the first row of the table. It will get elevation and it will pass it to this function call. So the function will pass L into elevation, and then you say here if elevation is less than 1,000, then you want to return green for elevations less than 1,000 meters. If elevation is between 1,000 meters, so it's greater than 1,000 meters or less than, let's say, 3,000 meters, return orange. Else return red. So red will be returned if none of these conditionals is satisfied, which means elevation is neither less than 1,000 meters nor between 1,000 and 3,000 meters, which means what is left is greater than 3,000 meters. In that case, we will return red. For finding out those values, actually, you need to do a little bit of data exploration. For instance, you may want to look at the data quickly like that to see what values you have, and then decide on the category thresholds. But you can also make more significant statistical analysis, like you can make a histogram and see the data distribution and then decide on these values. But let's keep things simple and let's decide on these values. Okay, I'll save this, check if everything is in place just quickly. Yeah, let me try the code. Go and reload. And yeah, we have some different colors here. Yeah, this is looking good. Let me double check the values. For instance, orange is between 1,000 meters and 3,000 meters, so we're doing good. Red is above 3,000 meters. Yeah, it seems it's working.